Not everything your mind tells you is the truth, and you do not need to listen to everything that your mind tells you. Now, just like any other human being, I also sometimes struggle with overthinking, and by sometimes, I mean almost every single day. Either way, I've been recently experimenting with these two methods that has been working actually quite well for me. So I just wanted to share it, so let's dive right in. Now let's talk about the first thing. I don't really have a name for it, but I will just tell you how it goes. Basically, I just stop interacting with my thoughts. Pay them no mind. None at all. Now, I'm not saying that stop interacting with your inner monologue completely. Absolutely not. You need to interact with yourself. You need to talk to yourself. That has to happen. What I'm asking you to boycott is your interaction with your negative thoughts. Thoughts that serve no purpose, thoughts that aren't benefiting you in any way, thoughts that make you feel bad about yourself or make you feel bad about the world or your place in the world. Worst case scenarios, unrealistic scenarios. I want you to stop interacting with those kind of thoughts. I know some of you are wondering that it happens so naturally, so unconsciously that we don't even realize that we're doing it unless we're 2 hours into it or we start getting anxious. Even when we're overthinking or ruminating unconsciously, there is always that one wake-up moment when we realize what we're doing. You know, there's always that one moment when we're like, oh, I am overthinking. Oh, I am ruminating. Right at that moment, I want you to stop feeding it. I want you to stop giving it any kind of answer. I want you to stop interacting with it. Now, it might still not stop. And that's when you ask your mind to give you an evidence of whatever it is telling you. And most likely, there won't be any evidence. And you'll go, that's what I thought. Even if that doesn't work, you just distract yourself with something. I don't know, start reading a book. You just change your activity if you can. So if you're lying down, you just start walking. Even if you're walking around in your room, you start playing music. You turn your focus on something else. Whatever you can do in that moment. You talk to someone, you get yourself a cup of coffee, or you get yourself a glass of water because you're probably dehydrated anyway. So might as well do that. Or you start learning French. I don't know, make a list of the things that you think you can do when you want to distract your mind from something that you're overthinking about. Now, what would it actually look like?
Did I tell you this today that you are ugly? You know your friends hate you because you're difficult to love. Do you really think you will find love again? Because I don't think so. Okay, what will you do if you're 40 and you're still single?
A few moments later.
You remember the time when you lost thousands of dollars because of a mistake? Do you think you will do that again? I have a feeling that you will. What do you think?
Trees, at least, would answer this question with a resounding no. And the recent science backs them up. Interesting. Just consciously stop interacting with your thoughts. Use your best judgment as to which thoughts deserve your attention and which do not. And to be frank, personally for me, no thought deserves my attention if it's been more than 10 minutes and there has been no action behind my thoughts. If it's not a productive thought, and if I'm not actively doing anything about that thought, it is not important right now. I can always come back to it, but if it's taking up too much of my energy to interact with it, I'm just gonna stop doing it by distracting myself from it, or just by not giving it any answer. And trust me, it does stop. Now there's another method that I've been using that I like to call then what happens method. And this might sound a little bit contradicting to the first method that I shared, but here's the truth. That first method is not gonna work every single time. So this is where you kind of switch it up and use this method instead. So basically what you do is, let's say for example, you know how sometimes we get into that place where we're just like building up scenarios for no reason, and most likely the worst case scenarios? When I get into that wake up moment, when I realize what I'm doing, what I would do is, if I can't really stop interacting with my brain, I'll consciously start interacting with it. I would be like, okay, then what happens? For example, let's say my brain is saying that, oh, you're gonna die alone. Okay, then what happens? Then what's next? And it will give me another thing that might happen, another prompt. I'll be like, okay, then what happens? And I just keep doing it until it actually stops. Because there would be one point when it would no longer have any answer for me. It will no longer have any prompt for me. And I'll be like, that's what I thought again. Basically, what this method does is it takes me out of the scenario. I become an observer of that scenario. So I'm technically still part of it, but I'm not included in it, because now I'm just like watching it from afar. I'm just looking at the scene. It's basically a story for me now, and not something that I actually think might happen. I'm just noticing what my brain is cooking without actually having to taste it. Even if it doesn't really work the way that I want it to, it usually gets a laugh out of me. And because of that laugh that comes out of me, I kind of break that flow of overthinking that I've been doing. And there's a high possibility, or at least most of the time, what happens is I kind of lose that flow of the things that I was thinking about. And I actually kind of forget about what my brain or my mind was telling me in the first place. At the end of the day, the main idea behind these exercises is not to completely stop your negative thoughts, because you might not be able to do that ever, but it is to actually be able to control your awareness to these thoughts, because you might not be able to immediately control the nature of your thoughts, but you can definitely control your attention to them. And your thoughts are as powerful as your attention to them. So it's about time we take the wheel, pick our own playlist, and enjoy the ride. Shall we? One last thing I want to talk about, which is very important, is that these methods are not going to work immediately. You are going to feel a lot of resistance. You're going to feel like that they're not working at all. It has taken me months. I remember I started doing this back in May of 2023, and it wasn't until like July or August when I actually felt like that, yo, I think I got this. I think these methods are actually working. But I was kind of very stubborn, very determined on doing this. Every single time I get into that wake up moment, and I would be like, no longer interacting with my thought, no longer, no matter how much I was like, I want to give you an answer. I was like, nope, we're doing this for science. We did this for science. And it actually, now I feel like I really have a hang of it. So don't just abandon it just because it isn't working right away. Give it a try for like a couple of months, maybe. Actually give it a shot. So that's all I have for you guys. I hope you find these methods useful. And if you actually end up doing it, please do let me know how it actually goes for you, because I would love to hear your experience with it. And I also want to shout out one of my friends who actually commented on my previous videos. It would be somewhere here, and that actually inspired me to make this video. And also because I've been trying these two exercises since May of 2023, and I kind of wanted to just share it with the world because it actually worked for me, and I hope it works for you too. And also, before I leave, there's something I want to share. I actually have a single that I released this month, so please check out my music channel and listen to that song. And if you enjoy it, please do let me know. And yes, that I think is all. Please comment, like, and subscribe. Either way, have a nice day.